available in high definition.
For the third time this year, Don Thompson Jr. in the Home Hardware Chevy will be on pole position. He'll be followed into corner number 1 here at Saint-Eustache by 4 Dodges. Lots of horsepower headed up front. It'll be the short track race of the year in Quebec.
As the Tour heads to the Autodrome Saint-Eustache, all the talk has been about the 22 of Scott Steckley. 2 wins and a 4th place finish as this soft-spoken man roaring to the top of the charts. The quiet town of Saint-Eustache is ready to explode with the province's racing heroes returning to their Autodrome. ACT champ Patrick Leperle, Champ Car, now NASCAR racer Alex Tagliani, Andre Corsol, motorcyclist Miguel Duhamel, and NASCAR champ Andrew Ranger have come to Saint-Eustache to wave the flag and tear up some tarmac. This is round 4 of the 2008 NASCAR Canadian Tire Series presented by Sirius Satellite Radio. From the Autodrome Saint-Eustache, it's a Kodak 250 on TSN. Hello, everyone, and welcome to a jam-packed speedway. I'm Dave Bradley. Alongside me is Billy Rouse Jr. and Todd Lewis is trackside. Billy, this little speedway just north of Montreal is bursting at the seams with excitement.
Well, Dave, the who's who of Quebec racing is here tonight. The only guy missing is Jacques Villeneuve. The new owners have done a great job preparing this facility, and what a tremendous job marketing it.
Well, Alain Labrosse and his team have been working on this race for months, and it shows here tonight with this great crowd on hand. All the stands are jam-packed and have been since about 12:30 today. J.R. Fitzpatrick all ready to go, and earlier in the day, his teammate, Don Thompson Jr., once again stole the show in time trials.
Well, Don Thompson Jr. now has 3 poles in 4 races. But Dave, remember, he's always been fast at this racetrack, and he's a proven winner.
Well, a Hamilton native has circled this flat 4/10 of a mile oval in a time of 17.219 seconds.
Well, Dave, looks like a development on the grid. That's Greg Gibson, crew chief on the 22. He's had his head inside that race car talking to his driver.
Could definitely be some trouble there as the Dodge Caliber SRT4 leads this field into the Kodak 250. We'll take a look at the complete Duplicolor starting grid. Mark Dilley on the outside of row number 1. Of course, Don Thompson Jr. with the pole. Row number 2 is Ron Beauchamp Jr. Great qualifying effort for the 60 team, and DJ Kennington in the 17. Jason Hathaway and Kerry Mix in the 02 make up row number 3. And we'll take a look back to row number 4. There's Scott Steckley, and Todd down in the pits telling us Scott may have a small oil leak on his Dodge, so the crew definitely have to look at that. Anthony Simone and Peter Gibbons make up row number 5. Then the last year's champ Andrew Ranger in the 27, Brad Graham in the 19 in row number 6. John Gott in the 12 and Doug Brown in the 10 are in row number 7. And we'll look back into row number 8, Derek Lynch in the 77. There's Alex Tagliani in the 7. Row number 9 has Patrick Leperle in the 91, Dave Whitlock in the 39.
Tell me right now. Okay, get in here. Get your window.
That's Greg Gibson, the crew chief, telling Scott Steckley to get that car on pit road. I've been listening to it. The oil pressure line is leaking. They're going to put a number 3 block in it to stop the oil leak inside the car. Watch the 22 come to pit road and go to work.
And he has come down pit road now. The 22 of Scott Steckley, the leader in the championship, comes down to his pit stall. And Billy, how quickly can they get this fixed?
Well, Greg's going to go in through the window. He's got to stay calm. He helped build this car. He knows exactly what he's going after. It's a matter of taking the line off with the motor not running, no oil running on him, inserting a plug, tighten it back up, wire tie it up out of the way, and clean up some oil on the floor, obviously, because we don't want oil on Scott's shoes or the pedals. And if they left it alone, the motor would have run out of oil.
So as work continues on pit road, we'll take a look at tonight's Allied Steel Buildings race analysis. Going to race 100 miles. That's a total of 250 laps. The track about 4/10 of a mile. Pit window tonight, 100 to 125 laps, and a beautiful night for racing, 25 degrees and sunny.
The 22 car repairs are complete. Back out on the racetrack, but Dave, he will start shotgun on the field.
And at least he is starting. Starting in the 23rd position, there's a good look at Miguel Duhamel. He has 86 AMA motorcycle career victories. He's the winningest driver in motorcycle or AMA motorcycle history. NASCAR approved his license this week. He's in the 8 Monte Carlo that was previously owned by Andre Corsol.
Well, McGill ran 1 race with us last year, but that was on the road course at Mosport.
So the cars double up for the start of tonight's race. Slowly working through corner number 4. Sean Gibbs with a green flag in hand and waves. And we're underway in the Kodak 250.
Down into very flat turn 1. Don Thompson Jr. on the preferred line, which is the bottom here at Saint-Eustache.
You saw Scott Steckley up on the outside, picking up 1 spot already as he heads into turn number 1, but now it's Mark Dilley applying the pressure to Don Thompson Jr. as we look to complete lap number 1.
Down the front stretch for the first time, you see the drag strip marks there. A lot of traction compound down that front stretch. It'll help these race cars later in the night.
Jason Hathaway side by side with DJ Kennington. There you see the battle there. Billy, how hard is it to go side by side here in a flat track such as Saint-Eustache?
Well, you really got to trust the man inside, that's for sure, because the racetrack is so hard to get the car to turn in the middle because it's so flat. We'll keep talking about this flat racetrack all night long.
Battle for fourth spot as the top three open up a bit of a gap, and they all chase the four of Don Thompson Jr. Now DJ Kennington powers around the outside. Looks like Kennington's going to take over top spot as they head down the front chute.
Well, DJ Kennington, no stranger to this place as well. He's had a lot of success here in a couple different styles of cars.
So Kennington settles the Castrol Dodge into fourth spot and tries to close that gap back up to the top three. Mark Dilley searching for a new line, looking for a way to get a run on that Home Hardware Chevy of Don Thompson Jr.
We listen to that Dodge horsepower chasing that little Chevy up front. That's Mark Dilley. Pretty quiet hands again this week. That car's handling well.
And Mark Dilley didn't have a bad race last time out. In trouble on the interstate. Batteries number 18 of Kent Noon as he pulls it behind the wall early on in the race.
Well, Dave, this is the first race out for the Pontiac, and they're having mechanical woes early here at Saint-Eustache.
Well, they'll try and get it figured out as laps continue to click down. There he is, Ron Beauchamp Jr. in the Mopar Dodge, the number 60, currently running in third. Some tough luck for that team early on this season. Looks as though they're having a pretty good run here in the early going in the Kodak 250. Anthony Simone and Andrew Ranger, and Ranger gives him a little route.
Oh, 84 around backwards.
The 84, J.R. Fitzpatrick, and more cars pile up in corner number 4 as they won't to miss Alex Tagliani. There's Patrick LaPearl in the 91, but heavy fiberglass damage on the 84 of J.R. Fitzpatrick.
Dave, I was so fixated watching the 27 put the iron to the 95, I didn't even see JR spin around, but there's the replay. The one gets into him, and around he goes, bam, into the wall backward.
And that's a pretty hard hit for a tight track like Saint-Eustache as J.R. Fitzpatrick pulls down pit lane and Todd's there.
The fiberglass bodywork dangling from the 84 of J.R. Fitzpatrick. The officials making him get lined up in his pit box before the work commences. The fiberglass is just one problem, guys. The refueling hose is the other. That could be an issue later on in this race. Much more of the Kodak 250 from Saint-Eustache when we come back.
Round number 4 of the 2008 NASCAR Canadian Tire Series presented by Sirius Satellite Radio is brought to you by Castrol. It's more than just oil. It's liquid engineering. By Dodge. Grab life by the horns. And by Allied Steel Buildings, the leading, most trusted brand of steel building. Restart number 1 here on lap 17. The cars doubled up. It's still Don Thompson Jr. and Mark Dilley. The green flag waves, so we're back underway.
Down into turn 1 on the restart here. Mark Dilley gets to the bottom real quick to protect the bottom.
And you see the drivers trying to get to that inside groove. Billy, as you mentioned, that's where they want to be. But once again, DJ Kennington trying his hand on the outside. A battle for third now.
Well, he was able to beat the 3 into that position on the first go-around, but now he's working hard on Ron Beauchamp Jr. And let's give a call to Ron Beauchamp Jr. They're doing an excellent job here in Quebec.
Absolutely. So is the 3-car. The snap-on Dodge of Jason Hathaway had some tough luck at Barrie after qualifying pretty well. Now running well within the top 5.
Well, DJ's going to slot right back in behind that 3-car. And here comes the one of Peter Gibbons, that Canadian Tire Chevrolet.
You got to get there quick. Take your openings as they come. As Gibbons trails the Castrol Dodge of DJ Kennington, still the 1-2 punch, the 4 and the 9 of Don Thompson Jr. and Mark Dilley in the front.
By the way it looks right now, if Dilley can just get an opening, he's just a tad faster than Don Thompson, but there's only one fast groove around this little racetrack.
It looks like Dilley's trying to pinch it down to the inside, trying to get a run down the inside off the corner.
Well, right there, Dave, you called it well. You hear how long Dilley had to wait on Thompson before he could get on the throttle, and that's the game. Oh, little root job there, just letting them know, hey, I'm back here, let's get it going.
Well, this is bunching up the drivers in behind as Ron Beauchamp Jr. able to catch up. There's the 7 Walmart Ford Fusion of Alex Tagliani. He's off down pit lane.
Oh, you see the smoke coming out of the side of that tail back. Oh, it looks like he's been in the fence. The track bar is out of it. No, there's smoke everywhere. I can't tell you what's wrong with that race car.
Looks like motor trouble. Todd standing by in his pit.
It started to slow, but continued to grow. The smoke coming out of the number 7 Walmart Ford of Alex Tagliani. The steering wheel coming off. It's going to be an early exit for Alex.
So the telltale smoke out of the exhaust pipe for the 7 car. There's his teammate, Andrew Ranger, up in 8th spot, and a good run for John Gaunt, the early going, as he gets into the back of Ranger and tries to duck underneath.
Well, Gaunt just turned in the corner a lot better than the 27, and he was able to get a nose up there. A little bit of contact, but Gaunt's not that style of driver. If he gives you a little bit of a touch, he'll let you gather it up.
Riding on board with the Dickies Dodge Avenger of Dave Whitlock, looking back toward the Allied Steel Building 77 of Derek Lynch, and then we ride on board with him.
Well, we watched Lynch a lot at Barrie Speedway. He brought that car home with nary a mark on it. Derek's one of the most patient drivers on the series.
Billy riding on board with Lynch there as we take a look at your points leader. Scott Steckley still moving up through the field. Steckley is now running in the 15th spot. He's working on 14th.
Well, you know, as I said at Barrie Speedway, whoa, he gives him a little shot. He's there. He's getting a little more aggressive. I told you earlier on at Barrie, he's a patient driver. He's got his confidence level. The team's clicking. And look at this. He's clicking him off to the front.
212 laps to go now. Your leader continues to be the 4 of Don Thompson Jr. as he gets into the back of lap traffic. Diving underneath the 8 car, Miguel Duhamel. A rude awakening to the oval racing world for Miguel Duhamel, but he's just turning laps and trying to gain some experience.
Well, this is a pretty tight little bull ring for to be turning laps. But, you know, we welcome everybody to come race with us. So here he is. He's having fun.
Hats off to the 91 of Patrick LaPearl, too. He's inside the top 20 as there is Beauchamp right behind the 9 Dodge of Mark Dilley, and Dilley gets the door slammed in front of him. Duhamel took that inside line away, and Dilley has some company in behind.
Well, the lap car is down at the bottom. That's the preferred line here, so it's going to get pretty racy. And you'd hate to say that a lap car is going to cost Dilley a spot, but Ron Beauchamp's very patient.
Be awfully tough to go 3 wide here at Saint-Eustache, wouldn't it?
It's not the smart thing to do, that's for sure.
So Mark Dilley continues to work on the 8 car. Miguel Duhamel, who is a lap down. Now he gets by him, so does Ron Beauchamp Jr. And Jason Hathaway now pulls to the outside as trouble on the front chute. It's the Dickies Dodge of Dave Whitlock.
Wow, Dave Whitlock got a donut there on the right side door. We'll have to see if there was some contact.
So the caution flies for the 2nd time here, and we'll get another look at it.
There we are. They're coming through 3 and 4, the 77 and the 39. Whitlock just sneezed a little bit coming off the corner, and the 77 was already on the gas, and Whitlock had to go around.
Sounded like the motor sputtered a little bit.
Well, you know, anything can happen off the corner, whether you hesitate or a little bit of a hiccup, and that doesn't take long on these bull rings to get turned around backwards.
Couple cars in for service. Don Thompson continues to lead the Kodak 250. Welcome back to the 2008 NASCAR Canadian Tire Series. Don Thompson Jr. the Home Hardware Chevrolet leads the Kodak 250 here on lap 46 as we get set for restart number 2. Green flag's up and we're back underway, heading for turn 1.
Up through the gearbox, down into turn 1 one more time with this flat little 410s. The inside line is going to work again. Look at the jump. Thompson gets down the backstretch.
Don Thompson Jr. gets the jump, but now Mark Dilley didn't get to the inside. Ron Beauchamp Jr. takes that spot away. Up into 2nd for the 60 car, and Dilley's going to lose a couple more.
DJ Kennington right there to keep that spot wide open and closed. Kerry Mix, he's going to slide through as well.
Jason Hathaway also stuck on that high lane as they try to get some traction. Mark Dilley still battling. DJ Kennington now in 3rd, and there's Dilley way on the outside of Kerry Mix in the BDIO2.
Mark Dilley doing a great job. He's got that thing all hung out there in the freight train lane, and I'll tell you what, you go to the back in a hurry unless you can fight down to the bottom.
Hathaway in the snap-on 3 has gotten to the bottom now. So does Mark Dilley. He gets down light. We're single file, at least through the top 10 as Hathaway with a little wiggle off of 4.
Wow, all over this little 410s. There's racing all the way back through the field.
In 11th spot is Derek Lynch as he chases the Haldex Dodge of Doug Brown in the 10.
Oh, you can take a good look as that inside wall is really close as a driver. Oh, Mixie slides up underneath the 17, and he's going to bring Dilley with him. That's for 3rd spot, Dave.
So DJ Kennington slipped up just a touch, and it's going to cost him 2 spots, but Jason Hathaway in there as well. It may cost DJ even more.
Take a look back to the 12. He's arcing that car. Johnny Gaunt, he's just sitting there hoping things will keep open. And there's that number 1 of Peter Gibbons. He's hoping for an opening as well.
How about the 12 car of John Gaunt, the Centennial Dodge Avenger? Had a rough go at Barrie Speedway, involved in a couple of shunts, but now he's got that car turning very well through the corners here at Saint-Eustache.
Side-by-side racing. That's the 12 Centennial Dodge.
Go on the inside. 4 to be 12.
That's DJ Kennington's spotter telling him that the 1 is coming after the 12, and Todd standing by in the infield with the drivers out early.
Alex Tagliani's team working on the car. Alex, boy, this is a disappointing way to have your night come to an end.
Yeah, it's unfortunate, you know, for the team. I mean, we made some modification on the car. The car seemed to be going pretty good, and you know, guys that race one race, you know, a year, kind of like are doing some stupid on the track, and then we just lost a strap, and we need to replace it. So it's pretty disappointing.
Well, disappointing for sure, but you know, you got to remember, he last year was a one-race wonder, so he shouldn't be too tough on the other guys that have tried it here in Quebec.
Absolutely. Another driver who is out is the 56 of Joey McComb, having trouble early on here in the Kodak 250 at Autodrome Saint-Eustache. There is your leader, Don Thompson Jr., and has been a leader since the drop of the green.
On board with that potent number 60 Dodge, Ron Beauchamp Jr., he coasts right up to the back bumper of that Home Hardware Chevrolet.
Billy, I got to ask you, as we rode on board with the Mopar Dodge of Beauchamp, you saw that inside wall coming onto pit lane? How much does that weigh on a driver's mind? They get right close to it.
Well, the first few laps you're here, you're way away from it, and the real truth is, to be fast, you got to just skim that baby coming off of turn 4.
A tight battle there for 5th spot. Jason Hathaway, John Gaunt, and Peter Gibbons all covered by a blanket. We look back to the 19 of Brad Graham. There is your points leader, the 22 of Scott Steckley. He continues this march from the tail. He's now sitting in 13th.
Well, his cool composure is just using everybody up here tonight. He's just picking them off one at a time. And look up front, Ron Beauchamp Jr. down to the inside of the 4. This is exciting. He's on the preferred line, up off the corner. Dodge against Chevrolet. Here we go. Drag race down the backstretch, side by side.
Ron Beauchamp Jr. got the jump down the front chute. Now they're side by side as Thompson looks for grip up in the highlight. But it's going to be Beauchamp picking up the 5 extra bonus points for leading that lap.
Oh, business is picking up. Now we got the Ford of Kerry Mix and the O2 in the mix as well.
So Don Thompson Jr. looks to get back to the inside, but I don't think he's going to be able to. The BDI Ford Fusion of Kerry Mix plugs that hole, but Thompson fighting hard on the outside.
While you talk about parity in racing, there we got one of each up front. It's Dodge, Ford, and Chevrolet.
But it's the Dodge that's opening a gap now. Ron Beauchamp Jr. about a car length back to Don Thompson Jr. Now he's going to be able to get down to that inside lane.
Well, Donnie just persevered in that outside line, just was not yet willing to give up another spot to Kerry Mix.
Drivers really start sweating when they get pushed out of lane. You can tell the urgency. They want to get down.
Oh, look at this back in the field. We got the 27 of Ranger and the 22 of Scott Steckley going at it. Steckley's going to get the spot.
Up to 12th now for Scott Steckley, chasing the 19 full throttle Dodge of Brad Graham. Here for 6th spot is the 1 car Peter Gibbons.
Peter Gibbons just been patient, sitting back there, watch all this action going on, and now he's starting to make his march to the front.
Riding on board with DJ Kennington as he ducks underneath the number 3 Dodge of Jason Hathaway. Look back to Doug Brown as well. And smoke now.
That looks like a wheel bearing or a brake problem on the right front of the 10 Haldex Dodge.
That just started in corner number 3 as Kerry Mix has worked around the outside of the 4 car to take over 2nd.
What a power move. Kerry just drove that thing around the outside, but you got to think maybe the spotter told Don Thompson about the smoke, hoping for a caution, and Mixie just never even let up, just powered right on by.
Still working in lap traffic, and there is that smoke of Doug Brown. You see that right front rotor. Brown is currently running in the 9th spot. That right front rotor is glowing red hot, so possibly a brake issue, Billy?
Well, something's really overheating that thing, whether it's a wheel bearing, a caliper seized up, or maybe he's got fluid getting out on the pad as well. But it certainly is not going to live long if it keeps smoking like that.
How long is that going to take before it gets that heat to the tire as well?
Well, that's the other concern. All that heat will build up on the what they call the tire bead, and the tire will just blow up.
And Don Thompson Jr., who led the first 70 laps here in the Kodak 250, starts to slide back a little bit. Now in a battle for 4th with Mark Dilley. There is your leader, the Mopar Dodge of Ron Beauchamp Jr.
Oh, it's great to see that Mopar car running up front again. Ronnie struggled a little bit, but I'll tell you what, this is a great team, good little driver, and his father builds a ton of horsepower. We'll be back with more of the Kodak 250 after this.
You're watching the racing action from the Kodak 250. It's round number 4 of the 2008 NASCAR Canadian Tire Series on TSN. Ron Beauchamp's number 60, Mopar Dodge, leads the field here on lap 104.
Well, Kerry Mix is caught right up to the back of that 60 Mopar Dodge, and they're in heavy traffic up front.
Lap traffic, that's the 5-car of Andre Corsol and the 21 Zimmer Wheaton Monte Carlo of Jason White, one of our Rookie of the Year contenders, and there goes Mix down for the lead.
Well, you asked me earlier if 3 wide was going to be the deal here. Kerry Mix got that 4-turn real steep off of turn 4 and beat Beauchamp through the lap cars.
It looks like Beauchamp was trying to use the outside to go around those lap cars, and then Kerry Mix just dove it hard to the inside, took it all the way to the front, and there he picks up 5 bonus points on the BDI 02.
On this very flat and tight bull ring, there's nothing wrong with a little bit of caution going through lap cars.
So Kerry Mix, the 3rd leader of the evening here in the Kodak 250 as Ron Beauchamp Jr. finally clears those lap cars. For 3rd spot, though, it's Don Thompson Jr. and Mark Dilley running nose to tail, and the 39 is slowed here on the front straightaway.
Well, bad luck just continues to plague Dave Whitlock in that Dickies Dodge.
The engine is still running, but now the caution flag flies. It doesn't look like Whitlock is going to get back to pit lane, so he stops coming out of the back chute. The yellow flies one more time here in the Kodak 250.
Well, Sean Gibbs with the yellow in hand brings his field back under control of the pace car. This has been an exciting race, but that car right there, the 39 Dodge, is having trouble here in Saint-Eustache.
It is time. Leaders stayed out on the track, but Dilley is in for right side tires and fuel. So is Don Thompson Jr.
Well, we'll have to see what the strategy is here. You know, I'm thinking 1 set of right side tires and fuel is all you're going to need to make it to the end of this race.
DJ Kennington also brings the Castrol Dodge in for service. There is Don Thompson Jr. In pit lane, he's getting left sides.
Wow, that blows my theory away. They must have had a stagger issue on the 4 car, because that's about the only reason that I would change left side tires is to make an adjustment. And as I say that, the 27 goes to lefts as well.
Local hero Andrew Ranger, look at the zoo it is on pit lane as the cars stack up trying to get service. There's Derek Lynch with right side tires and fuel as well. Scott Steckley in pit lane.
Well, we got a lot of strategy being played out here. We've even got a chassis adjustment on the 22. Some of these guys must be thinking about a 2-tire stop, come in and get right sides later on in the race, kind of like Kerry Mix did at the last short track race and almost won.
There is the Dickies Dodge of Dave Whitlock being pushed off. 2 drivers who didn't come into pit lane, Ron Beauchamp Jr. and Kerry Mix, they never came in, so they'll lead here as we get set for the restart on lap 112. Slowly through corner number 4. Look at the pace that Mix has slowed them down to. Sean Gibbs once again with a green flag up in the air. It waves to Urgo.
Up through the gearbox down the very short front stretch. Kerry Mix into turn 1. Oh, it looks like the 3 is going to try and get right through in the back bumper. The 0-2 down the back stretch.
Jim Lapsovich in the number 25 Tim Hortons Monte Carlo received the tow truck in a box free pass during that caution. He's now on the lead lap sitting in 13th spot.
I'll take a look back there in the 3rd row on the inside. That's the number 1 of Peter Gibbons, and he's got some fresh rubber on that car, and it's really hauling the mail.
The 3-car Jason Hathaway also made a pit stop. Billy, how much is it going to hurt these 2 drivers at the front who didn't make a pit stop? They got 100 extra laps on their tires.
Well, for the first little bit, the guys with new tires, they're going to be like superheroes. Those cars are going to turn and everything else. But at some point, they'll equalize. Beauchamp real loose off of turn 2, and the 1 of Peter Gibbons was allowed to get in there.
There is a prime example of old tires versus new. As Gibbons goes through, he's going to drag John Gahn along with him, and Don Thompson Jr. is lined up along the inside.
While all the fresh tires are coming to the front.
The 3-car Jason Hathaway with a big slide as he looks to get underneath the 0-2 of Kerry Mix side by side through 3 and 4 for the lead, and Hathaway's going to take over top spot.
Not only that, he's about to pick up 5 bonus points for leading the lap here in Saint-Eustache.
So the Snap-on Dodge Avenger leads his first laps of 2008 here in the NASCAR Canadian Tire Series. He puts the 0-2. Kerry Mix back to 2nd.
Get in a rhythm. We don't want to abuse our tires at this point, okay?
That's the crew chief boss, Julio, telling him exactly the truth. Don't abuse them tires. We got to save them till later.
So Doug Brown slides up the banking just a touch as DJ Kennington picks up 8th spot. Here comes John Gahn for 3rd as he gets underneath the 1 car, Peter Gibbons.
Oh, Peter Gibbons just slid up in the middle of turn 1 and 2 a little bit. That opened the door for the 12 of John Gahn. He went through it, and he brought that 4 of Don Thompson Jr. with them fresh tires through as well.
So John Gaunt up inside the top 3 and pressuring the 0-2 of Kerry Mix. These two have raced side by side many, many years, and Gaunt easily goes underneath the 0-2 of Mix. He's up into second, and he's bringing along the number 4, Home Hardware Chevy, and Don Thompson Jr. with him. Every hole that John Gaunt makes, Don Thompson Jr. fills. So
Let's go. Giddy up. Giddy up.
and that's Sammy Putnam telling John Gaunt to get up and go as Todd stands by in the infield. An update on the 39.
While the crew, including Joe LaPointe, continues to work on the electricals inside of the number 39 Dickey's Dodge for Dave Whitlock. Dave, this is the second time we talked to you before the end of the race. The car just shut off on you?
No, I don't know. I don't want to be in here, but something quit in the ignition. We've tried both ignition boxes, and just not our week here. Unfortunately, the Dickey's NMT car is behind the wall again this week.
Well, that's unusual, Dave. All the cars prepared in Whitlock's shop are usually flawlessly prepared. And we got caution on the speedway.
It's for the 10 of Doug Brown, who spins, and we'll get a chance to get another look at it. Riding on board with Kennington.
You look out the back there, and that's the 19. Just gives him a little shot coming off the corner, and around he goes.
After leading laps earlier, Ron Beauchamp now along pit road for his scheduled service. It'll be 2 right side tires, fuel to take him the distance, and a minor handling adjustment. But this Beaupar Dodge has been fast, fellas.
That's for sure, Todd. And more stops. There's the Kerry Mix. The 19 of Graham is in. The 9 of Mark Dilley is in as well.
So scheduled stops all around. There is your leader, Jason Hathaway. He continues in the front. We'll be back. Welcome back to TSN's NASCAR Canadian Tire Series. Jason Hathaway and his Snap-on Tools Dodge Avenger leads the Kodak 250 here at Saint-Eustache for restart number 4, lap 29. Sean Gibbs throws the green.
John Gaunt pinching that number 3 car right down the bottom, trying to get a good run off the second corner. Don Thompson Jr. takes a peek for the lead.
And Scott Steckley in that battle as well. The Home Hardware Midway update. We've had 4 lead changes amongst 4 drivers, 4 cautions as well for 20 laps. The fastest lap so far this evening put in by Kerry Mix, a 17.311 second Mix. Made a pit stop. He's battling back up through the field.
Yeah, but Dave, Kerry Mix might have had the fastest lap. Contact 77 into the back of the 12. Donnie Gaunt gathers it up and musters on. But I was going to say, the 22 is Scott Steckley, all the way into the top 10 from shotgun on the field.
Interesting to see the respect there, too, as Derek Lynch got into the 12, and here's a change for the lead. The 4 of Don Thompson Jr. into the top spot as Hathaway slots back into second.
While Derek Lynch, not one of the dirty drivers at all in this series, he will give you an opportunity to straighten up the race car.
And there is the Allied Steel Buildings, number 77, Sydney in 4th spot. Mark Dilley up into the top 5.
Going to drive through penalty.
And that's Dave Jacobs telling his driver, Andrew Ranger, that they have a drive-through penalty for a pit infraction on their last pit stop.
And that'll confirm it right there. That's Sean Gibbs displaying the black flag to the 27.
And this is going to hurt on the short track of Saint-Eustache, as Ranger may, in fact, go a lap down.
Look at this. The 12 drives it deep into turn 3 to take the spot away from the 3 of Jason Hathaway.
Using every bit of the racetrack is John Gaunt. Now Ranger comes along pit lane.
Just watch your speed and get going when you get to that flat line. Just get going.
That's Billy Burns, his crew chief, just giving him some encouragement. Don't speed, but get on the hammer hard when you get to the blend line so you can stay on the lead lap.
He's going to have to as the leaders come along the front stretch. Don Thompson Jr. clicks off another lap at top spot as he goes around another lap car. There is Jason Hathaway.
Steckley, 3 cars slow. Follow Steckley.
That's Ron Beauchamp Sr. on the radio to Junior telling him the 3 cars slow, follow Steckley through the hole.
So Hathaway stuck up on the outside lane as Steckley goes through. Now Beauchamp does as well, as we ride on board with Beauchamp.
Listen to this down the backstretch. All the way up off the corner to about 7,500 RPMs. And there's the 1 Monte Carlo. He's going to take the spot away from Dilley. That's for 4th.
4th spot, and Scott Steckley in there as well. Steckley has been on a tear. We talked about it at the top of the show. He has won twice already this season. He has a top 5 in his other one. Is this a battle for 5th spot? And Steckley's going to take it away from the number 9 of Mark Dilley.
3 wide. Bumping and grinding off of turn 4 at Saint-Eustache.
A squeeze with Miguel Duhamel on the inside. Duhamel's trying to stay out of the way, but the leader's battling hard in front of him.
Well, lap cars here in this tight 4/10 will definitely play a role later in the race.
Mark Dilley with a little wiggle as he enters turn number 3, chasing your current points leader, the 22 of Scott Steckley. Gibbons and Derek Lynch battle for 3rd spot. Gibbons into the back of Lynch.
Well, Gibbons gives him a little bumper job off the corner, dives down the bottom, he'll steal the spot.
The Allied Steel Building 77 slides back into fourth as the Canadian Tire number 1 Monte Carlo. Peter Gibbons inside the top 3 for the first time tonight.
Well, Gibbons definitely quicker than the 77 as he puts distance. Oh, we got a car slow up the speedway. That's Mark Dilley.
Up in corner number 4 from 6th spot is the number 9 Dodge. Mark Dilley, his teammate. Dave Woodlock had troubles as well earlier on. Todd's in the 9 pit.
Discussions taking place, guys, in the number 9 team of Mark Dilley. Clutch is out of that car. They're discussing how serious the problem is. Can they get it fixed and get Mark back into the battle? More on the Kodak 250 from Saint-Eustache when we return.
Welcome back to the NASCAR Canadian Tire Series. Don Thompson Jr. leads the Kodak 250 here on lap 160. Out of corner number 4. Now the green flag waves and they're back up to speed.
Up through the gearbox, down into turn 1, Don Thompson Jr., no stranger to leading laps here in Saint-Eustache.
And that's exactly what he's doing here in the Kodak 250. Peter Gibbons, who is also a strong runner over the last few years here at Saint-Eustache in the 1 car, is up to 2nd now as Scott gets slid all the way back into 4th.
Yeah, but look who's in 3rd spot. Mr. Confidence, Mr. Points Leader. That's Scott Steckley in the 22.
Battle there for 5th spot between the 77 of Derek Lynch and the 60 of Ron Beauchamp Jr. Beauchamp stuck on the outside. DJ Candian looking to take a spot away as well. And to change for the lead, it's Gibbons up to the point.
Peter Gibbons leading the first laps of tonight at Saint-Eustache. He's no stranger to leading. I remember a race here. He had the whole side torn out of that race car and come from the back with a bent-up piece to win.
Look who's getting racy as well. DJ Candian in the 17 car up to 6th, chasing the Allied Steel Building 77. And there is J.R. Fitzpatrick in the 84. Side by side with the 60. They bump and hang on to it. J.R. Fitzpatrick driving a dirt-style car in the 84.
Well, talking about a bent-up piece, J.R. has been in the fence backwards. They've adjusted on it, he's raced it, and now he's driving the wheels off it, trying to get that Chevrolet to the front.
Watch his hands.
Feathering the throttle. Hard
just
on the gas down the straightaway. He's doing a great job with a bent-up race car.
He's wheeling that thing off the corners. You watch him go full lock to the outside as J.R. Fitzpatrick tries to hang on to it and tries to chase that man, your leader, Peter Gibbons, with Don Thompson Jr. in the 4 car chasing.
Wow, look at the action off of turn 2. The 4 into the 1, the 22 into the 4. Nobody lost a spot.
Steckley sits 3rd right now. Tots with his crew chief, Greg Gibson.
Craig Scott didn't have the start he wanted with that oil problem, but that was fixed. He's been coming towards the front. How's his car, and can he get there by the end?
He's complaining about being a little bit tight, but he's still faster than the 1 and 2 in front of him, so can't be that bad.
Can't be that bad, that's for sure. Got a driver complaining the thing's a little tight. They've come from shotgun on the field, sitting 3rd, and they're definitely... Whoa! Trouble off of turn 2.
Derek Lynch takes a big slide up the hill, and it pushes up there. You see sparks from underneath the Allied Steel Building 77.
Oh, something's broke in the back of that car, whether it be a trailer. Looks like the panhard bar is broke. The rear end's moving back and forth in the race car.
Derek Lynch pulls down pit lane. And to the attention of his crew, but from inside the top 5 was the 70-17. He will go a lap down as the leaders come through 3 and 4. There is Peter Gibbons in top spot. And Andre Corsol goes around. Caution flag flies. The CarQuest number 5 goes around. And caution here as this will bunch the field back up.
We talked about at the top of the show, all the local heroes in this race tonight, and so far they're all having misfortune at Saint-Eustache.
Up on jack stands is the 77. We're here a broken panhard bar bracket of that car as we'll take a look at the Mopar Fast 5. Scott Steckley, John Gunn, DJ Kennington, Ron Beauchamp Jr., and Brad Graham, all in Dodges and all inside the top 10.
Yeah, what a Mopar night for sure. But here we come to the restart. A pair of Chevrolets up front. Peter Gibbons on the inside. That potent number 4, Don Thompson on the outside.
Slowly coming to take the green. They do. And who gets to the stripe first? It is the 4 of Don Thompson Jr.
Down the backstretch, side by side. Peter Gibbons got the preferred line, but they're still side by side.
Gibbons on the inside looking to take back the lead. Don Thompson Jr. battling hard on the outside. Scott Steckley in 3rd, waiting to see how this plays out. Gibbons will lead him to the line, but caution flag comes out.
Well, we got the 95 car. Simone sitting on the inside of the racetrack in turn 2, and that brings out the caution.
So Don Thompson Jr. had led the last fully completed lap. That means he will sit first when we take the restart here in the Kodak 250. So big change of events here at the front of the pack. Huge crowd being well entertained here at Saint-Eustache. We'll take a look at the top 5, or the only 5 Quebec-based NASCAR drivers. How about Patrick LaPearl sitting 10th? Great run for him today.
Well, he's got a lot of laps of this place in several different styles of automobile.
So there is Don Thompson Jr. at the front of the field. The green flag waves once again as we get back up to speed.
Thompson jumps out to an early lead on Gibbons this time. Gibbons is out in that high line, and Steckley's right there, kitty by the door, saying, thank you very much.
Steckley on the inside. Kennington's following that 22. He knows who's quick here at Saint-Eustache, and he's going to follow up at Gibbons. Slams the door on the front chute.
Gibbons, no stranger to muscling his way into positions. He's able to steady off that 17. Whoa! Thompson's car backfiring out the pipes. Everybody stacks up.
The 4 car slows drastically. Caution flag flies once again. And Don Thompson Jr. well off the pace on the 4 down the back straightaway. Steckley got into him. Look at the damage on Gibbons' car.
Well, we can hear it. Go by. The thing just pop, 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 pop. Something's wrong with the ignition or the exhaust. Something's definitely amiss in that Chevrolet power plant.
There, you can hear it there.
Look at the damage on the 1 car. Here we are, off of turn 2, hard on the power. See the backfire out the pipe? We stack up. Steckley gets in the back. Gibbons gets in the back of the 22. It was, just mayhem. Listen. Thompson's got his hand in the air trying to wave to get everybody out of the way, but it didn't happen.
Don's in the Canadian Tire pit.
NASCAR has ordered that Pete Gibbons make the stop along pit road, guys, to repair that body damage. What a turn of events. There's brake duct that's also hanging down that'll have to be cleared away. The Canadian Tire Chevrolet that was challenging with Don Thompson Jr. They believe, Sandy Hamilton and the crew of the Home Hardware Chevy, that it's an electrical problem. That's what they're going towards right now as Don Thompson is parked in the infield.
Well, Don, as you mentioned, a big turn of events here in the Kodak 250. That man's your new leader, Scott Steckley, at the front of the field. He started at the very back of the field at the beginning of the Kodak 250. Now the number 22 of Scott Steckley, the current Castrol points leader, now leads here in Saint-Eustache on lap 213.
Down into turn 1, DJ Kennington, he's out there in no man's land. You certainly don't want to be outside, but he got a break. He's going to get down to the bottom.
He wanted to get down to the bottom as quickly as he could, and he did just that. Now it's Ron Beauchamp Jr. struggling for traction up high. John Gunn having a whale of a race in that Centennial Dodge number 12, up into 3rd spot.
Well, the performances there tonight, Gord Coates, the owner of that race car, and Centennial Dodge Chrysler, has to be proud of how that team has got their stuff together.
And Andrew Ranger in the Walmart tie, number 27, gets underneath the Mopar 60. Ron Beauchamp Jr., he'll take that spot away. And there's the 02 with Kerry Mix coming back after that late pit stop.
Side by side coming off of turn 2. Beauchamp is failing off the pace just a little bit, but there's still lots of racing left.
The man of the season at the head of the field here in the Kodak 250. It's Scott Steckley continuing to tick off laps at the front. Andrew Ranger battling with the 02. Kerry Mix for 4th spot.
Well, that battle right there probably got this whole grandstand standing up cheering for their hometown boy.
And we're getting word that the 4 car has electrical issues. Don Thompson Jr. is behind the wall, but the crew is making repairs. He'll try and get back out before the night is done.
Pick it up a bit, bud.
That's Sammy Putnam telling his driver, John Gunn, you got to pick it up. They're coming.
Well, John Gunn has been doing that all night long in the 12 car, sitting nicely inside the top 3 as the 1 and the 19 battle for 9th spot. You see the body damage on the 1 car. Peter Gibbons, the car was fast just a few laps ago. Doesn't look like that damage has affected it too much.
No, I've seen this Peter Gibbons movie before. He got all tore up like this a couple years ago, went to the back and just trounced the field. And Peter Gibbons is one of the veterans who can take a tour. Whoa, contact! The 27 just punched the 12 out of the way.
Ranger into the back of John Gunn. Caution flag flies. You see the light come on there in corner number 2 as John Gunn searches for an opening to get back around. But this is going to hurt the 12 team.
Well, the one man's demise. Here, let's have a look at the replay. Here we go, down into turn 1, and the 27 just drives in the back of him, picks the rear wheels up, and around he goes.
John Gunn really had no chance on that one as Andrew Ranger now sits in 3rd spot, but they're all chasing the 22 of Scott Steckley. Welcome back to the NASCAR Canadian Tire Series on TSN. The 22 Dodge of Scott Steckley leads the Kodak 250 with 20 laps to go.
Down into turn one more time. The 22 in the bottom, the 17 at the top. The 27 sits in third, and I still don't know why that NASCAR didn't put a move on him for spinning the 12 car.
Yeah, possibly. Could have been penalties there, but NASCAR decided to keep the black flag in their pocket as Andrew Ranger continues on in third spot. DJ Kennington in second as we ride on board the Castrol Dodge.
Oh, you can hear DJ Kennington, that Dodge car. He's spinning the tires up off the corner.
Chasing the 22 of Scott Steckley, who has marched all the way from the tail of the field. Really, anything he got today would have been just gravy for the 22 team.
And here's a good look at a young fella who's mustered from the back as well. That car was in the fence earlier on. Take a look at his eyes. He's concentrating really hard.
Gary Mix taking a look underneath the 84 of J.R. Fitzpatrick. Fitzpatrick doing a whale of a job as well in that 84 car. He's up into fourth spot. 17 laps to go now here in the Kodak 250 at Saint-Eustache.
Oh, a little action there. The 1 gets into the back of the 60, gets squirrely, and the 91 is able to steal a spot.
Patrick LaPearl driving the 91 in his first ever NASCAR Canadian Tire Series race in 7th spot underneath the 1 car. Peter Gibbons, a little rub on the way by as LaPearl takes over that spot.
Well, through the smoke one more time down the backstretch. It's the 27 and the 84.
With the 02 of Kerry Mix not too far behind. Looks like Mix is a little bit quicker than the 84 of J.R. Fitzpatrick trying to go through. But how about the 91 of Patrick LaPearl doing a wonderful job here tonight?
Well, he's got a lot of laps here, too. He's the defending ACT champion, and he's won a lot of races here.
Didn't take him long to figure out these NASCAR Canadian Tire Series cars. He started 17th. He's currently up in 7th spot.
Down the front stretch one more time. They go around the lap car of Jason White from beautiful British Columbia.
The Zimmer Wheaton Monte Carlo, again learning all these tracks out east as Jason White. Now with the troubles on Alex Tagliani, you know what? He's going to have a decent day as far as the Rookie of the Year standings go.
Well, that's good. One man's misfortune is another man's fortune.
Still, the 22 of Scott Steckley leads the Kodak 250 here at Saint-Eustache, going around lap traffic once again as Miguel Duhamel pulls the 8 car down to the inside and lets the leaders go by. Steckley leads, Kennington runs second, but a huge gap between the two, and Todd standing by in the Castrol pit.
Fellas, just talked to Dave White, crew chief for DJ Kennington. He was close on that last restart, but DJ doesn't have anything for that 22 car. He's been hooked up all year, and he's pulling out a lead again, trying to close out on another victory.
Well, that's right, Todd. When the speed gods are with you, everything happens just right, and the speed gods are with the 22.
There is the 84 of J.R. Fitzpatrick. We talked about his misfortune earlier on in this race as Kerry Mix goes to work on the driver of the 84, the 02 BDI Ford Fusion. Takes a look underneath, and there goes a slide from the 84 Fitzpatrick. He gathers it back up, and Mix goes through.
J.R. was pedaling the throttle hard, trying to keep that car underneath him, but it allowed the 02 of Kerry Mix to steal the spot.
And Mix immediately takes a look at the 27 of Andrew Ranger, but the man of the hour continues to be the 22 of Scott Steckley. We sound like a broken record this 2008 season. Every oval that we've run on, Steckley has been at the front of the field. He's got 2 wins already, 2 laps to go here in the Kodak 250 as the 02 of Kerry Mix dives underneath the 27 of Andrew Ranger for third.
Oh, those two have had a lot of history in the closing laps of the races last year, and that one was fairly clean. Kerry Mix steals the spot.
So Ranger will try to battle back with now 1 lap to go as Scott Steckley sees the white flag in the Kodak 250 around the lap car. I'm Dave Whitlock down the back straightaway for the final time. Steckley, who has won 2 oval course races so far this season. He came 4th on the road course in Mosport. Off of turn 4. Mark it 3 wins this season for Scott Steckley.
What a great job. Randy Steckley and crew very, very happy with their driver. Remember, they started shotgun on the field, had to make hasty repairs before the green.
And with his 3rd win of the season, Milverton, Ontario, Scott Steckley gathers another Dodge winning moment. Welcome back to the NASCAR Canadian Tire Series. Todd is standing by in victory lane with a familiar face.
Helmet and Hans device off, cold drink going in, and once again, Scott Steckley is jumping up and waving the checkered flag in the air to celebrate another victory. 3 out of 4 this year as he gets congratulations from Kerry Mix and DJ Kennington, who will share the podium with him momentarily. And Scott, this one was far from routine. Yeah, you were out in front at the end of it, but you got off to a rough start with a problem with that oil sensor, and guys were saying you were complaining this car was a bit tight all night long.
Yeah, the car was tight, but man, we adjusted on it. Came right from the back. We passed pretty well every car out there. It was awesome. This crew's doing a great job. We got everything working great. I got to thank Herb, Tow Truck in a Box, all our sponsors, all the crew, family, everybody that supports us. It's just been great.
Going from back to front, is this win more satisfying than some of the others?
Oh, definitely. When you can go from the back to the front on a track that nobody can pass at, it's great. This car was just awesome.
Scott Steckley, another win, extends his points lead in the championship.
I'd hate to see it when he gets that car absolutely perfect. Kerry Mix coming home third tonight. J.R. Fitzpatrick soldiering home to a fifth-place finish. Patrick LaPearl coming home eighth. And how about Doug Brown with a top 10? And Todd standing by with your second-place finisher.
DJ Kennington, boy, you had that mulligan in the first race of the year, but we've been finding you on the podium ever since, and that's really helping you out.
Yeah, the only problem is Scott's usually on the podium one spot ahead of us every week. Man, oh man, has he got that thing hooked up. But congratulations to him. He's a good guy. And the Castrol Dodge was awesome tonight, so I can't complain. We just needed a little more forward bite at the end there, and we might have had something for Scott. But Castrol, MC Squared, everybody who helps us out, Mopar, SM Freight, thanks a lot, guys, and we'll keep digging. We'll catch them yet.
Well done.
Well done for sure. DJ Kennington's strong podium performance has moved him into second place in the Castrol points, and as Steckley continues to win, it's making this championship very one-sided.
Rough night for Don Thompson Jr. tonight. He still sits third in the Castrol point standings. Kerry Mix now in fourth on the strength of tonight's third-place finish. There's a congratulations from Mix to Scott Steckley as he steps on the top step of the podium here in Saint-Eustache. The Kodak 250 from Saint-Eustache, Quebec has been brought to you by Castrol Syntec. Unlock the power. Mopar, authentic performance. And by Duplicolor, the premium brand leader in automotive paints, primers, and coatings.
There's the top three, and the smile says it all. Mr. Dominance, Scott Steckley.
So the next stop on the schedule, the A&W 300 from Sun Valley Speedway. From all of us at James Robinson Associates, we'll see you there.